All right, so this semester for all of the artists' designs, we're going to be using Adobe Fresco on the iPads to draw those. So if you don't already have Adobe Fresco installed on your iPad, we'll have to do that first using self-service. You'll find Adobe Fresco and install that. Now, some of these seem to take longer, some take shorter to actually install them. So as soon as it does finish and install, then you'll go ahead and open that up. And before you get to this page, the first time that you open it, you'll probably have a couple pop-up windows that want you to sign in, and you'll just do that using Google, and you'll sign in with your school login credentials. So the same things you use to sign in with your email. But we're going to be drawing on this. When you get to this screen, for start a new document, current screen size is what you're going to use. All right, so for the actual picture that we're going to do for the practice design, you're going to have to go into Schoology. And so we got practice artist design here. All right, so first thing you need to do is this picture. You're going to save it to your iPad. So if you just click and hold on to it and then add to photos. All right, so you save this picture to your iPad using Adobe Fresco. You're going to add the picture as an image layer. You're going to draw the picture, and then you're going to add the artist name, Pete Mondrian, to the design. Now, I highly recommend that you use a stylus to draw instead of trying to draw with your finger. But for the sake of this demo, I can't seem to find my stylus right now. So I will be using my finger for this. But again, it's a lot more difficult to do it that way. So the first thing I want to do is on my documents screen here, I want to add the picture that I'm going to be drawing, more or less really tracing. So down here in the bottom left, there's that picture a little picture there. And I want to place from photos, I find my picture. If I want to resize it, I can. It all depends on what your picture is. That's gonna be good enough for now. All right, so on the right side here are all of your layers. So right now I have a blank layer, a layer that's not really being used for anything, and a image layer. I'm going to be drawing on this layer for right now. You can change the order of your layers. If I click and hold, I can move that around. Usually I like to have my image layer below whatever layer I'm drawing on. So make sure that you have that layer selected. And then up in the top left here are all of your brush options. So I would just use, for this assignment, go from this first brush icon. There are other different types of brush icons, but that's getting a little too in-depth for what we're going to be doing for these. As you start to do these on your own, you can kind of play around with different brush styles, ones that may be a little bit more accurate towards certain artist styles. But for this one, I'm just going to go with basic, and I'm going to use the hard round brush for that. Up here, I can change the color, and I can change the size of my brush. So I can go as big or as small as I want. For this, I'm just going to start off by drawing very quickly, like I said, for the sake of my demo, my picture. Now, when you place your layer on here, sometimes it's a little difficult to see the difference between what's been drawn and what hasn't. So one thing that makes it kind of helpful sometimes is if I click on the picture that the layer that my picture is on, and then up in the top right, there's these 3 lines with 3 circles on them. If I click on that, I can change the layer opacity. So if I make it lower, I can see my picture still, but it's going to be a lot easier to see what I'm actually drawing versus what is the picture itself. So on this, if you make a mistake or anything, this little arrow going back is what you would use to undo. Make that a little smaller. And then, like I said, I'm just going to really quickly try to make yours a little more precise, a little bit nicer than this. I just want to give you the general idea. Okay. Next, I'm going to add the colors. So one thing I can also do to match colors exact, I can use this eyedropper tool over here. But in order to get exact colors, I do need this to be back to full opacity. I can just, click, with my whatever color I want, and it automatically switches to that. Now, to fill in a shape, let's go back to opacity. Oh, I missed one. Okay. So I can also use the paint bucket to fill in an entire shape after I've drawn around it. But you do need to make sure that your outline that you draw is completely connected. So if I was trying to fill in this blue shape right here at the bottom, it's not completely connected all the way. So if I was filling it in with blue, it's going to fill in more than what I want. So I just got to make sure that that section is completely enclosed. All right. I can zoom in if I need to. Those last two are black. And there we go. So once I've finished drawing my image, if I no longer need it to be seen, I could just hide that layer, and then that's completely gone. So that's what my very quickly done drawing looks like. Now the last thing I want you to do is create a new layer. And so, all right, then to create a new layer, this box with the plus over here, if I click that, it adds a new layer onto here. And then you're just going to add the artist name as part of, on top of this. So move this layer up to the very top, just so that I can tell what's what. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this layer for a second. And with this, with Adobe Fresco, you have the option of using the type tool, and you can actually type it out. But for right now, I want everyone to try to draw the words for the name. Make sure you have the correct layer selected. Again, make sure that any gaps are filled in if you want to use the paint bucket to fill in any of those shapes. All right, it's horrible, but you get the idea. All right. And there's my design for today. So the last thing, whenever you are completely finished, you're going to go to Quick Export. So the little box with the arrow pointing up, Quick Export, and you're going to, let's see, let's try Save Image first. Yeah. Export complete. Then I can go back into Schoology, submit assignments, practice artist design. Click on this, type something because it won't let you leave this blank. The little icon right above post, choose photo library. There's mine. Post. And now I've submitted my assignment. That's all there is to that.